Next one in planning is the financial viability. You need to be aware of the fact that Airbnb is not a real estate business. This is hospitality. In real estate, you have a tenant who stays in your property and pays you a constant monthly rent, which keeps dropping into your bank account every month. But on Airbnb, it is not going to be the case. No matter where you are, there will be ups and downs. There will be busy periods. There will be low periods. For example, for me in Edinburgh, January is our lowest month. We make about half of the monthly rent. Whereas August is our peak, where we can make about 3 to 4 times the monthly rent. No matter where you are in the world, you will also see that kind of a fluctuation in your monthly revenue from the property. So you need to be aware of this fluctuation, and at this point you need to think whether your financial circumstances can accommodate that kind of a fluctuation in your finances. Very important, keep this in mind and think about this. The next one is find the tax obligations and relief. Depending on where you are in the world, there will be advantages of doing short-term letting. For example, in UK, there are lots of tax advantages if you are doing a short-term rental business. In HMRC terms in UK, it is called furnished holiday let, and it gives you a lot of advantages over letting your property to a normal tenant. Find out from an accountant or a tax advisor in your country what are the advantages you will have, what are the tax reliefs and any other kind of government funding or any other support you may get. Speak to an accountant or a financial advisor and ask them these questions. They will be able to tell you all those things tax related and how you can benefit by doing a short-term rental business in your property as compared to a normal tenant. The next one is detailed financial analysis. And everyone has this curiosity, how much my property is going to generate, how much people are going to pay for my property, and all those things. Unfortunately, there is no simple formula or answer I can give you. Every property is different. It has its own configuration. It is in a different location. There cannot be a simple formula for this. But the easiest thing you can do to find out what kind of revenue your property can generate is to go onto Airbnb and look for properties that are similar to yours in your area and see how much they are charging. Make sure when you're looking at the properties on Airbnb to compare, you need to be aware of two things. Don't look at the final price the guest will be paying. Just look at the nightly rate they are charging and the cleaning fee they are charging. That is what you will be earning, because Airbnb automatically adds their commission and charges on top of that. So if you are looking at the total amount the guest pays, that is not going to be the true figure for you, and that can lead you into different direction. Always look for the nightly rate when you're researching other properties in your area. The other thing you need to keep in mind when you're looking at other properties to compare, always check their calendar and see how much they are booked at that price. Because it is possible people sometimes do put a ridiculous price for their property, and it's very important to see what kind of bookings they are getting at that price. So always make sure you click on their calendar and see if they are booked at least 50% at that price. If it is booked at 50% of that price, that means it is a good property for you to consider and add it to the list of 10 properties you're comparing to find out the nightly rate your property can generate. But make sure you pick up the properties which have about 50% bookings for the next 1 month. Get 10 such properties, see how much they are charging, which are in your area on Airbnb, and they're at least 50% booked. And that will give you a ballpark figure of how much you can charge for your property. Now multiply that by 50% occupancy in your property. After that, the final sum, which comes out to be is more than your monthly expenses at the property. For example, let's say if you find out that properties in your area are selling for $100 per night, assuming if you were 50% booked, you will be earning $1,500 a month. Will you be profitable at $1,500 a month? If the answer is yes, that means you're heading in the right direction. Think about it. Make sure you do your analysis correctly. When you're looking at other properties, always look at the nightly price, not the total price. Note down the cleaning fee they are charging and see what kind of availability they have. Are they more than 50% booked at that price? Pick 10 such properties, average out the price. That will give you a ballpark figure, and use that ballpark figure, multiply it by 50% occupancy in your property. And if you're still profitable, you're good to go for the next stage, which is going to be the setup phase.